Welcome to Women of Calibre. Today we have the wonderful Amira joining us. She is a performance and wellness and relationship coach. Amira, would you care to tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Thank you, Claire, for having me. I'll keep it short and sweet. My background is I'm an Ayurvedic lifestyle consultant, and I studied folk medicine as well as sexual energy, relationship, and intimacy coaching. So basically, in a nutshell, that's where my area of expertise is.
Yeah, okay. So could you tell us a little bit about how you came to all of this? I mean, did you go to school and then decide, okay, I'm 18 years old now or 19 or whatever, and I'm going to do what
Yeah.
you just said?
Uh, actually, none of that. My background was like my academic background initially was languages and art, and what I figured out, and I think I've been always intrigued. I think since I was 18 or something by spirituality. Like I felt like there is something missing. There is a void in my heart. Let me say it that way. And in that quest, I tried many things. Like I would go clubbing, shopping. I mean, the whole nine yards of this, but no drugs, thank God. But I didn't go that route. So drinking, and I felt like no, there is something more to that. So I went on my own spiritual quest to fill that void. But back then, I did not know that this is a spiritual quest. It's just I felt like regardless of what I do, it's there is this is like an itch that cannot be scratched, if you will. And I think the pivotal moment in my life was that when I've been always into health and wellness. So always, 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 this was my passion. And I did a lot of sports growing up. So I was always into that.
Okay, right. So, yeah, do you care to share a bit more about your journey? Because it sounds fascinating.
I think the pivotal moment in my life was when I went to India. I think that was like 13 years ago, I would say, and I willingly admitted myself into an Ayurvedic and naturopathy hospital.
Mhm.
Um, it was a very, I would say, very local facility. It was I asked an Indian friend of mine that I did not want to do anything touristic. I did not want to go to an ashram. I did not want to. Back then, I was doing some vipassana meditation. I was also initiated into the art of living. So I did like I think level 1 and 2 in the art of living, and I was into so many things when it comes to yoga and meditation. But it was only for my own, like for my own journey, for my own quest, if you will.
Yeah.
And then he suggested this place, and he said this is only for locals. Like nobody knows that place, and it's very low key, and it's famous just among this local Indians. And it was true; it was not commercial. Very good prices, and I did not, and I really they have a wait list, and you have to fill out an application to say why you want to go there.
Yeah.
And if you just say you're stressed or you suffer from insomnia, back then I think they will just take you, and they take many people with terminal illness.
Ah.
And I think I was at a fork in my life back then where I had to do so many to make so many decisions, and I was always seeking answers outside of myself. Like definitely my friends will know better, definitely my family may know better, definitely this will know better, this book will have the answers. It was never ever the notion of it's me, it's inside of me that I can get the answers. And I was eating healthy and I was doing sports, and I did not think that there will be a huge drastic change in my life after this experience. Far from the truth, far from it. After this experience, I learned. um, that you are what you eat,
Mhm.
that caffeine and sugar can cloud your decision making big time. It was like an aha moment for me after I was off caffeine, off sugar, and I was not eating a lot of sugar anyway.
Mhm.
However, no, the carbs we eat, they get like, seriously, your microbiome dictates your decisions.
Yep.
So after this, everything changed because the clarity, I would say the clarity I had after this experience and being on that very strict diet and very strict routine, waking up, I think, 5:30 in the morning. Well, it's not as sharp, the memories, it's a bit blurry, but
Mhm.
like no phones, no laptops are allowed in the facility. You have to leave your phone in the room. Very strict, but my God, like it took me back. I had a reference point of what is it like to be in a homeostasis. Like
Mhm.
if you're not, stress is not our natural state. Peace and calmness and clarity is.
I agree.
So it was amazing. Of course, vegetarian diet and yeah, so I would say this thing was this experience because after that I decided to study Ayurveda. Just after that experience, I got into folk medicine. And folk medicine, I did it through actually living and traveling and staying with indigenous people from all over almost the world and also experiencing plant medicine as well. So I think it's an amalgamation of experiences rather than textbook reading. That comes second, but you have to have an experiential um, reference point rather than just intellectual, knowing things intellectually. In my opinion, it doesn't work.
Yeah,
This just by itself doesn't work.
I completely agree. So I can relate to you talking about the clarity that you get when you let go of sugar and caffeine. I've never been excited about caffeine. I just like the smell of coffee more than the taste.
Yes.
But I remember fasting for 3 days, and after that fast, honestly, I felt like, do I even really need food? Like, have I been lied to my whole life? And that's the thing. I did it to myself, so it's not something that I read about. I had no
Yeah.
cravings. I don't even feel like I had cravings to begin with, but yeah, the sugar or the addiction. It's not just sugar, it's also the addiction to the taste of sweetness. That's something that I kicked in my early 20s. I went on this, oh God, I don't want to, I don't want to talk about the specific diet, but it was really about cutting out carbs for a couple of weeks. And yeah, so I got into a ketogenic state. I didn't even know that's what it was at the time, but it was, yeah, it just completely changed my perspective on life. And so did fasting. So, yeah, so do you use your experiences in your work currently and the things that you've learned along the way?
Everything is from my personal experience because I have nothing else to offer. If I did not walk the path, how can
Mhm.
I be able to guide anybody? Like you need somebody who knows and who's been through these things, who not just read about them, to be able to guide you. Basically, and this is where I think most people fall short when they think that therapists and healers and coaches, they have a magic wand and they are capable of taking all your problems away. No, it's not like that. It's we are, let's say your patient, your client is in secondary school and you are in your postgraduate degree, but you're still learning too. Everybody is in their own, they have their own tests, their own exams, just different stages, and you need somebody to navigate with you where you are. But we don't have magic wands. We cannot heal you. You have to take that decision. We just can guide you to where. you fell short because we've been there. That's the thing. So yes, everything I do is basically from personal experience. Yeah, yeah, I would say so.
And I just want to go back to something you said about when you were searching and thinking that the answers were outside of yourself. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. So I'll go back to my to the what we call the imposter syndrome, and um, somehow, because I worked in the fashion industry, and I worked in because I studied fashion and interior decoration. So I worked basically as a stylist and image consultant at the beginning. I actually juggled many hats because I always worked for myself. So I kind of like I figured that I'm not a worker bee in that lifetime. So in this reincarnation, so I learned as many skills as I like, and I kept them under my belt. And whatever I could do to sustain my living, I would do it at that time. So I juggled many hats at the same time. So I worked as an image consultant. And to piggyback on your question, this is where it came from, that people would come to me to for makeovers, but I end up giving them coaching and therapy without knowing that, because I would say, why do you want to wear this? And she would say, because I want to hide this part.
Mm,
And I would say, why do you want to hide this part? Why don't you have the perspective of, I want to enhance the beauty rather than hide? So this is a shift in perspective. And this has nothing to do with stylists. This is not the work of a stylist or an image consultant, basically. But I found out that I'm doing more therapy than actually styling. But it never clicked to me
yeah.
that I was always also seeking the answers,
Mm,
although I did a lot of impact in my clients back then as an image consultant. But it never really kind of like, I never connected the dots that I
mm,
have this gift. And I would always also for myself seek the answers from outside. I never gave my inner voice any validation. So that is something that we all like. We can be very good at guiding other people, but when it came to ourselves, we did not trust this inner voice enough to say, I have this wisdom. Why not? I can be wise enough to to know without nobody will know you. Maybe even if you trust that inner voice, the universe will send you people to give you messages. But
mm,
you have to trust this inner voice first. And you have to trust that you are connected to a higher realm and to a higher intelligence, and let this intelligence work through you. Then you can actually get the answers sometimes from other people, but you would know that this message is for you
yeah.
through a song, through a quote, now through maybe an Instagram post. But you have to tune in first, like clean your receptors, and then you will receive maybe sometimes from outside, but it will be directed to you. So I think this is what happened to me when I went to India, that I was seeking answers from people, basically. What do you think about my situation? What do you think I should do? But then when I went on this amazing diet and introspection, and I kind of isolated myself completely, everything was very clear. I didn't need to ask anybody for anything. It was very clear. So that's in a nutshell what happened to me.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. And yeah, and I think, okay, so it's a realization that I got as well. Um, but it wasn't until I got into coaching or being coached or even therapy that I was aware of it. I was always like waiting for something or someone to guide me, or I was on a path to, I don't know, study, marry, have children, buy a house, that kind of thing, that kind of, conveyor belt type thing. But I resisted. And I wouldn't say that I was necessarily in touch with my intuition. But yeah. Right. So, what is it that you would like to share with my audience? Because we had a little chat about this beforehand.
Mhm.
Your words of wisdom, go.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I want to share something about um, maybe because I worked in both areas. So a little bit of background too. I worked with the refugees and trauma victims in Canada, and I was doing my private practice as a therapist too. But back then, I worked as a cultural interpreter and an interpreter. So because I'm bilingual English Arabic, my background, I'm Egyptian Canadian, so I speak Arabic as well, among these other languages. And I saw that the Western or the therapeutic tradition doesn't work. And that was like, yeah, it doesn't work because there is nothing cookie cutter about the human soul and the human being. And you cannot heal a person by them answering a textbook question. And and I've seen it day in and day out, and I felt like, okay, there is a now this is where the difference is with the therapeutic tradition. If you have fear or if you have anger, that the Western therapeutic like tradition, let's say any style, there are many styles, and I'm not against them, but I don't feel that they fit everybody, and they tend to fragmentalize the human soul, and we are whole. And they get you into this rabbit hole of you are they label you, like for instance anger or fear. Let's say the therapeutic Western tradition would want to get you into the rabbit hole to digging, why are you angry, why are you fearful, and then maybe you have an inner child trauma, or maybe you have a family this, or maybe this is your mother, or maybe this is your friend. I don't undermine or undervalue this, and this is the spiritual tradition to addressing this is just being the awareness for this emotion. So instead of saying I am depressed, because I am is a very powerful word,
Mm.
you can say you're saying, oh, depression or fear or anger. And the spiritual approach would be not try to suppress it, but not trying to identify with it either. And my teacher used to say to define is to confine.
Mm. That's profound.
And now all I see is these labels and brands, and some of it is true. I'm not saying, but you don't have to identify with it. You're not captive to being a narcissist, avoidant, this attachment style, this horoscope, this birth chart. No, you're not any of that. You're none of that actually. You're just your consciousness is having a human experience, an avatar who's playing that. So
Mhm.
this is when I realized that this was incredible freedom for me from the ego personality. And this approach healed many people because instead of giving you fish by fish, it's teaching you how to fish. It's the master key. Because at the end of the day, you can go through all the therapies you want, but you will reach that destination that you are the consciousness awareness, and your avatar is just playing the role. This is just the role you play, it's not you. So I think many people are trapped into the pigeonhole of fragmentalizing themselves. Like, I am this because this is my birth chart, because this is my destiny as this, because this is my ancestral shamanic journey as this. I don't disagree, but I don't take it to heart either, because all of this and all of my personal journey, I did not go through any of these pigeonholes to branding myself these things. I'm aware of them. I'm aware that my well, okay, my birth chart is this, it has these planets. I'm aware that I have these attributes from that. I'm aware that in another reincarnation I did my past life regression, that I was this. But I don't identify with it. And for me that was a huge freedom, because I couldn't watch everything going on the screen of consciousness without the consciousness being scathed.
Mhm.
So it's like when you watch a movie on the screen and there is a waterfall, you don't see the screen getting wet. When there is a fire, the screen does not get burned. It's the same. It's the same. There is something behind all that. Awareness is aware of you giving that report, I am depressed. But who's aware of that? Who's giving that report? Who's aware? Because if you are that, you cannot take yourself outside of that and say, I am depressed. So if you are sad, sadness is an emotion
Mm.
that will subside. And if you are sadness, when this emotion subsides, you will also subside, you will also disappear. But you are like the vast sky, and these are clouds, and the clouds will pass. The happy clouds, the nice, crisp, white, 3D clouds will pass.
Yeah.
The gray, grim, dismal clouds will pass. So you cannot identify yourself as a cloud. You're always the sky. You're
Yeah.
always the sky. And everything is happening on that screen of consciousness. So I think if people realize that, there will be a lot of lightness, and they will not attach so much to their story and to their sadness. And they will see it as, okay, this avatar, this personality, this ego is going through this
Mhm.
for some kind of evolution in my spiritual journey, in my personality. Or, your avatar as Amira acted in that way, and then I snap out of it. Oh, and I say, oh, my ego reacted to that in this.
Mm.
That's fine. That's okay. I don't condemn it, but I'm aware of it, and I'm aware that I am not it.
Yeah.
So I think that approach to therapy will free you from the pigeonholes
The
and
label.
branding yourself that you have this trauma, I have this wound, I have that wound. No, you don't. You don't. You actually, when you start labeling yourself all these things, you actually bring them in, you believe them into existence.
That's so true. Uh, I mean, I can share something that I hope will help our listeners or our viewers. Um, I remember having vivid dreams where I was outside of my body. So I was observing myself in situations, interacting with other people. And I just used to think, gosh, these dreams are so crazy because what I what I realized was that by observing myself having these, and these were real life situations that had happened, I was able to, because I could see myself and how I was behaving and how I was reacting, especially, I was able to change my behavior in real life. in the waking state. And I mean, I don't know if this is a common experience or, but it sort of started happening around the age of 28. I would say that's when my spiritual journey really kicked off. 28, 29, I started seeing myself as, but from outside of my body. I was like, what is this? Just, it was almost like a mirror. So I was like, because I might have said something like, oh, that person over there is angry or bitter or what have you. And then I would see myself be angry and bitter. And I was like, oh my goodness,
Hmm.
what's that all about?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if it's an exercise that is done in therapy, or I'm just grateful that it happened because it really changed my perspective about who I am,
Yeah.
um, and how I experience life. That I'm not, like you said, I'm not a set thing. I'm not an accumulation of the horrible things that have happened to me and the good things that have happened to me. And I'm not like some battered and bruised thing that just has to get through life, but that I have a choice. I have a choice about how I react. I have a choice about how I think. I have a choice about what I believe and
Yeah.
questioning limiting beliefs. Yeah, and that I'm not the sum of, I guess, the trauma of generations that have come before me. That
Exactly.
I'm
For
free.
yeah. Yes, I'm so free. People, well, I have to say that, okay, I've been trained in both,
Mm-hmm.
or I have the skills to use both, because not everybody is ready for that. Like, you don't give a toddler a steak, okay? So not everybody, sometimes you have to walk people through. So it's helpful to know the CBT, the SFBT, the DBT, all these techniques, and the mirror technique, and because it helped me develop my own technique, and also it helped me go where the client or the patient is, like, to meet them where they are. Because,
Yeah.
as I said, not everybody is spiritual,
Mm-hmm.
and not everybody is ready for the ego death,
Uh-huh.
and not everybody is ready to give up their story, their history.
True.
We develop a huge connection. Who would we be without this story? I love my personality. So we are so attached. There's an intimate relationship between us and our ego personality, whether we like it or not. So not everybody is willing to give this up. And you cannot uproot it if the person is not willing to do that. So having many skills in that field is like having tools in your toolbox,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to intuitively use whatever is suitable and meet your client where they are. So I'm not condemning anything, because I I I 100% believe with all my heart that when you're ready, the teacher appears. So there were books on my shelf for 10 years, and I kid you not, I would have threw them in the rubbish bin because I was not ready. I had my own personal filters to absorb the concepts in these books.
Mm-hmm.
So only when I was ready, my teachers appeared. I did not choose any of my teachers, none of them. They came to me when I was ready to receive. So it's good to have different things and meet people where they are. But in my personal experience, I would say this is the ultimate truth. This is the master key to healing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's packaged now, like it's the same work of Dr. Joe Dispenza. It's everybody that says reinvent yourself, like forget your personality to have another personal reality. This is the same language. It's just packaged differently. It's about shedding the layers and connecting to the infinite possibilities and energy, and not identifying with your personality as the only truth and the only reality, and being able to know that we are dynamic beings, we're not static beings.
Mhm.
And that's the only, like, I would say, it's the path to liberation, in my opinion,
Mhm.
because then you're not going to be striving all the time to be right, this righteousness, you know. Like, yeah, I remember Ramdas when he would say, like, I would become angry, and I would see that my guru came and drag as a person or a microphone to say, hey, I saw you, you're angry, you're not supposed to be angry, you're Ramdas. Yes, it's all of us.
Yeah.
All of us, we have this personality that we're supposed to be the wisest, the most equanimous. Not all the time. We can. No. But we
Human.
can. Exactly. So, yeah. So I think um, people should not really defragmentize, like fragmentize themselves too much and go into so many rabbit holes because we are whole. We don't need all these labels to unhook one trauma after another. It's much more simpler than this, in my opinion.
And so, how do you work with your clients? Do you work one to one? Do you work in groups? And what sort of things do they come to you for, actually?
That's a very interesting question. Okay, so I do couples therapy, and I have, so, okay, that's a very good question. So I work under two umbrellas, and they always overlap. So many, specifically women and single women, they come to me to unlock the patterns of the relationships. Okay. And women have this tendency that they want to intuitively understand themselves. They want to work on themselves. They
Mhm.
want to see, why are we having this over and over and over again? And this is when you reach a certain amount of awareness, when drugs, alcohol, sex, uh, shopping sprees, traveling, you realize that they do not work anymore. So you start to dig deeper and you want to understand yourself. Why is this happening to me? And usually the door or the gateway comes through relationships when it comes to women for me. And then I take them through because I have to assess if somebody is anxious, if somebody is stressed, if somebody is depressed. I have to assess, what are your daily habits? So, what are you eating? What are you drinking? What is your lifestyle? What are your sexual habits? And because this affects everything, the biochemistry, what is going on in your body? Do you have adrenal fatigue? Um, um, what about the hormones? So I do energy scanning
Mhm.
before anything. I would love, if we are in person, I would love to do energy scanning. If it's online, I have other ways to assess what's going on.
Mhm.
And the energy scanning is, your conscious mind is not here. So I read your energy field in order to get what your subconscious mind and your energy field wants to say. Okay, not your conscious mind, so you cannot be selective.
Yeah.
So that's one route. And so when I walk them through this, then I know where is the depression. It's like deep. Sometimes the word depressed coming from your avatar wants depressed. You want to disconnect from the personality you think you are. You want to set yourself free for a bit. You want to take time out. Take time out of who you are. You cannot identify with the role you play day in, day out. Relax, chill. You're not that. So I would say men, when I work with men, I work mostly, especially in Canada, people were more open to work on this, which is like very young entrepreneurs. They would want high performance, and they would want to biohack basically their brain, their body to a better energy level, to a better performance. So I also go their sleep cycle and porn addiction, masturbation addiction, because this affects energy level big time when it comes to men.
Mm,
Their sexual practices affect everything, and also the inner dialogue. What are you? What is going on here? And this goes both ways, to men and to women. What are you on constant basis you're telling yourself? So, for instance, I always have very high expectations from that avatar when it comes to making mistakes. So I take what is it, pride and joy that I don't really make a lot of mistakes in life. But I catch myself when something goes wrong. I tell myself, "This is stupid. You shouldn't have done that." And then I say, "Hey, hold on. Why is my inner voice so harsh?
mm,
Why do I judge myself?" So you have to keep listening to what is your inner dialogue. What are you telling yourself when nobody's looking?
mm.
When nobody's looking, what is the inner dialogue? What's happening inside? The other day I was hiking, and my friend wanted to take a picture of me, and I said, "No, I don't like pictures. I never look good in pictures." So this is an
What?
inner dialogue.
Yeah.
This is something that you tell yourself.
Because you look
So
great
this
in your hiking photos. What are you talking
is
about? I've seen your hiking photos. You look great.
I don't think that. I always look like I've been attacked by a wolf with my hair flying everywhere. So it's like, I blame it on the water where I am. I blame it on the hard water. So it's your inner dialogue. You have to listen. You have to listen. Listen to what you're saying. Because, funny enough, when I went on many plant medicine journeys, and most of them I did them on my own actually.
Wow.
I mean, it's amazing how your inner being sees you. You see yourself perfect, beautiful, flawless. None of the things that you think are flaws or problems with your body, with your skin, with your hair, none of them exist. None of them exist. You accept yourself
Mm-hmm.
wholly and totally, and you have this incredible, I would say, when I am on plant medicine, and not all of them, and I don't necessarily encourage people to go on this, you can also reach this without.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you have huge appreciation for the journey you've been through and the person you became.
Mm.
Every step of the way, you have huge appreciation to what you've been through as a human on this planet. And it's not an easy journey, it's a tough journey, especially for women. Especially for women.
Why is that, do you think?
Because we are the incubators. We are the incubators. We are the receivers. We have an intuitive wisdom. There is a reason that women bear children. There is a reason that the universe chose women to bear children. There is a reason. You have an incubator, whether you gave birth or not. So it's this intuitive wisdom. If you tap into it and if you cultivate it, but it is ready in you. So it does not mean men are not needed. The universe is not redundant. Men are very needed and they complement us. And without them, we burn out. And we need them in our life because we complement each other. They cannot breastfeed, they cannot give birth, they cannot connect with the babies the way we are, but we need them for support to have our back so we can function. So there is nothing called, if the universe wants one species, it would have been the case. And I'm not going to go through the rabbit hole of Andromedans and how the people were one sex and multi-sex in one body. I'm not going to go through this. I'm talking about now.
Yeah.
We are. communal beings. We are meant to live in communities, to support each other, to ask men for the things that we would love them to do. Yes, we're capable, but why not? Why not? You know, they are better than us and they can do things better than us in certain ways. We can do
Mm-hmm.
better than them in certain ways. Women are the healers, women are the creative forces,
Mm-hmm.
women are the nurturers, but men are the protectors, the providers. They have this beautiful masculine energy if it's well cultivated, and if you are in a healthy union, it's heaven on earth. And the answer is not to de-alienate men and shame them and put them in a corner and condemn them all the time. Why? Why? You need that masculine energy. The universe is not redundant. We are unique, and each one of us, we can complement each other. And this is what a healthy family. This mentality is basically to deconstruct the family, and then the women will be in their masculine all the time, and this is where all the imbalances and the shit hits the fan, and we have all these imbalances.
Yeah.
No, that's not how it is. Men are going through a tough journey as well.
Mm-hmm.
And when they are healed, they have beautiful energy, and we can both benefit from each other's wisdom and journey in life. That's how I see it. Nothing else.
I agree with you. I mean, I've got to say that in the man versus bear debate, I'm going to go there. So when I first, I, okay, just to recap. So there was a man going around asking women if they would rather be he was just going around in the street asking women if they'd rather be stranded with a man for a week in a forest or with a bear in a forest for a week. And the majority of the women in his little, survey actually said that they would rather be stranded with a bear. And I'm going to hold my hands up. I was team bear to begin with. I was legit team bear. I was like, you know what? A bear is a wild animal. It's just going to follow its instincts. If it's not hungry, I might live. If it's hungry, I may not live, but it's just following its instinct. Man, who knows? Who knows? But yeah, we had a little discussion and a chuckle about that because
Yeah.
I have met women who have said, no, I should definitely want to be stranded with a man because X, Y, Z. So would you like to argue the case for team man versus
Well, in general, I see men. I mean, I've been hurt by men time and time and time and time again. But I've been hurt by laptops and my phones, and they let me down too. And I cried
I'm so sorry.
because my phone let me down, and my laptop let me down, and my gadgets were not there when I needed them, and my 4 years of work went down the toilet on a.
No.
But did I stop using these things? No, I bought a better version. I upgraded. I learned how to back up. I learned how to deal with this. So that's how it is. You don't alienate and cancel a whole species because you had some experiences that you needed to learn so you'll be the wise woman you are, so you can deal with somebody else not or not. But you can use him as a neighbor, as a brother, as I would love to have a brother, but I didn't. I was not having a brother.
Oh,
I would have loved to have a brother, this brotherly energy, as an uncle, as a father. The masculine brings a different energy. The
it's true.
masculine brings a different energy. Okay? Why? Why cancel an energy, a source of energy? Why? You know? No, you tweak it, you work with it, you find something that suits you. You find it's a power source. No, I
I
this is my approach. This
I
is my
agree. And actually, for me, ironically, the first person who even spoke to me about masculine energy and feminine energy was a man.
yeah.
It's like, Claire, do you ever relax? She's like, ever calm down? Wind down? And I was like, but why do I need to do those things? So, but that was really at the beginning of my journey. And he's the one who introduced me to the principle, I guess the principle, the male principle, the feminine principle, the masculine principle. I don't know if I'm explaining this correctly, but it made sense to me. I mean, okay, I guess my story is that I have a sun sign in Libra. So I was like, yeah, balance, that makes sense. You can't just be one thing all the time. Yeah, you have to work and rest, and you have to, well, not have to, but yeah, you can experience sadness and happiness and everything, like the duality is that surrounds us,
Exactly.
right? So
Exactly.
it's
And the thing is, because they cannot take your role, you can take theirs. So it's an extra load on you. It's not a win-win situation. It's not a
mm,
win. They cannot carry babies. They cannot. They don't have that ability. I'm talking about biologically, naturally.
yeah,
Breastfeed, nurture a baby, go through all these hormonal cycles that we go through. So when you take their jobs and their roles, then you're the loser in the equation because you have to do both things. They
yeah,
cannot do your thing. Okay, maybe they can. There are many wonderful single dads that I've met in my life. Fantastic. But that's something else. That's
yeah.
something else. So it's why? Why take the roles? Why? But when you see a masculine that's not in his masculine,
Mm.
you can take the horse to the water, but you cannot force them to drink. Don't force anybody to drink. If he's masculine, if he does not identify that this is something that gives him pleasure to protect you, to provide for you, to pursue you, to pleasure you, don't try. He's not the one for you. Identify what your needs are, and go for them. Don't why put a I don't know a square bag into a circular hole or vice versa. Why? Don't invent the wheel. There are men out there that are in their masculine and they would be gladly to do to meet what your needs are. Don't invent the wheel. If you are not that feminine woman who wants to be treated that way, that's fine too. You'll find
Mm.
your match. That's fine too. Just the most important thing, ask yourself honestly what my needs are and who I would like to be as
Mm.
this avatar. I am more into my feminine or no, I don't need to be. I'm not that. I don't identify. It does not come naturally to me to be that. Fine, perfect. Suit yourself. Go for the thing that really, but don't force anything on anybody, especially yourself.
Mm. I couldn't agree more. Uh, and I think so. A friend of mine. So yeah, the concepts that you've covered. One of them about being married to a story, the story that we tell ourselves about who we are, the story that we tell other people about. Oh, this is who I am because X Y Z happened to me. Uh, that is something. It's funny. It's a theme. It's a book that a friend told me about when I was again in my like late 20s, mid 20s maybe. Um, the book I'm thinking of is called Loving What Is, and it's written by Byron Katie. And honestly, when my friend was explaining about the four questions, I just looked at her blankly. I was like, what do you mean, is this thought true? Because I was like, it's a thought. It must be true. I'm thinking it. I'm the one thinking it. It must be true. So I couldn't even answer the four questions. It was lost on me. But when I studied nutritional therapy, in one of our modules, which is emotional well-being, influences, and barriers, like barriers to achieving the changes that we want, right, or that our clients want. we had those same 4 questions, that process, the process of examining thoughts, like, is it true? How do I know that it's true? And how do I react, or how do I feel when I believe this thing to be true? And who would I be if I didn't believe that it was true? And that just breaks a lot of things open for a lot of people. They realize that, they're not a label that they've been given, right? Or they're not the condition that they've been living with for X amount of years. It's that there's a power to change, and they see themselves in a different light. And I think that's perhaps, and this is something that I'm thinking about now, because you asked me the question. You were like, isn't it? It's like, is nutritional therapy not just diet and exercise? And I was like, I've never put anyone on a diet. I don't tell them how to exercise.
Exactly. And it's wonderful.
How I was trained.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's holistic, and people, there are some trigger questions. You ask people about their feeding habit, their eating habits as children, and it's like Pandora's box. They start telling you about relationships in the family, like whether there was food, whether there was not food. All of the trauma comes out.
Yeah.
So I'll be sending them to you. From now on, I'm referring them to you, because I'm like,
Pandora's box. You're gonna get into that. Another Pandora's box.
like, so I have an allied practitioner. Her name is Amira. You can watch the video.
Yeah. We usually burn the box. We put the box into fire. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That's been really eye-opening. Is there anything else you'd like to share? Amira, thanks so much for your time, your valuable time, and thanks for sharing about how you work with people, and your philosophy on life, how you got to this point. How can people actually work with you?
Very simple. My website is askamira.ca. So people can maybe book a discovery call if they want to, and we'll take it from there. We'll see if there's chemistry, if they feel that I can guide them, and that's basically what it is. That the most easiest and I would say more straightforward would be to reach me through my Instagram, and just to drop me a message and say what kind of things they want to navigate. Like as I said, I work um, on healing when it comes to emotional and mental well-being, and I go through, of course, the biochemistry or relationship issues, whether men or women. I do also couples therapy, especially my I would say my passion is about chemistry and connection. So I run chemistry and connection workshops for couples, or like also from one couple to 8 couples together. And this is to enhance exercises, nonverbal mostly, like I would say 80% nonverbal exercises to rekindle connection and chemistry between partners and couples. And this is my Everest, because I've seen how nonverbal communication is way better than like 90%, I would say, no fail. People find the fire and the connection back by the end of the session. So yeah, so just drop me a line or book a discovery call. And basically, yeah, I'm mostly on Instagram. I'm also on TikTok, but I'm not very active. But basically, I check Instagram. So if you send me a message, I would love to see if we can collaborate.
Okay, and what is your Instagram handle? I'll include all the links in the description, but just if someone's watching it right now.
I think it's Amira. Ask Amira. This is Ask Amira is my brand name, and askamira.ca. Well, you will not find a lot of CA, so probably it's askamira.ca. Yeah.
Excellent. Brilliant. Well, thanks so much for coming into my life. Thanks so much.
Same here. Same here. Same here.
Oh, thanks so much for being a guest on the show. And yeah, I mean, all the technical issues were at my end. So I usually just say, oh, Mercury must be in retrograde. That's the story that I tell myself when technology lets me down. But we got there in the end. So I'm so glad that you took part and that you shared so much with us. And yeah, I look forward to being in touch very soon. So,
Thank you, thank you,
thank
thank you,
you.
and thank you for your bubbly energy and your joy is contagious.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you so much, Claire. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. It was my pleasure entirely. So yes, I'll include all the links below, and I wish everyone who is watching or listening to the show a wonderful rest of the day.
Yeah, same here.